everybody was so excited for the week one matchup for the Denver Broncos versus the Seattle Seahawks, and for good reason. Obviously the Seahawks trade their franchise quarterback for like 5 draft picks. It was crazy. And obviously the Broncos also having a new head coach made for an epic week one showdown. But the way it ended, So I got to start by saying that the Denver Broncos having the ball inside the 5-yard line and fumbling twice, mistakes happen. I understand it. I think it was Javonte Williams averaging over 8 yards a carry. It was just kind of one of those things where you're looking at it, you're like, okay, the Seahawks are playing pretty good in the red zone right now. So, okay, I get it. Didn't occur to anyone to try a bootleg or try any of this. Like, everybody talks about the textbook definition of insanity and of doing the same thing twice and expecting a different result. I think it was Albert Einstein or somebody. Whoever said it, they were onto something. Because when you watch that game, when you watch it over and over and just watch the Denver Broncos make that same mistake twice, it's just like putting the ball on the ground twice inside the 5. You can't have it. If you want to win in the NFL, you can't have it. And then on the flip side of that, everybody's going to be talking about. I've been up for about an hour now, and a couple hours, got up at 5, and since I went on Twitter, everybody's just been dragging Nathaniel Hackett, and I get it. I think at the end of the day, that's a tough decision. You have over a minute left, you have 3 timeouts, and you decide to waste 30 seconds and settle for a 64-yard field goal on 4th and 5. That's a tough decision, but we're going to get into it a lot more in just a second in our latest edition of Standouts and Fizzouts, because Pop, everybody has their own edition of winners and losers, risers and fallers, and here's our edition of Standouts and Fizzouts. Standouts, players that stood out, and Fizzouts, players that fizzled out, because Pop, we think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and we believe that everybody needs to drink Pop. That's how good it is. Like I said, I'm really excited about this segment today. I think there's so many different things that go on in an NFL game, and I'm so glad to be able to talk about it. So, and we're going to bring up the game here in just a moment. But again, I want to reiterate the fact that, I first want to say that everybody that watches football, y'all are way more in tune with the game than I am, because I never would have thought about the 3 timeouts and over a minute left. So it was kind of, honestly, I didn't get to watch the game last night, so it was a little shocking. But like I said, it's tough. So we'll get into it right here. So the Broncos drop one against the Seattle Seahawks in week 1. Russell Wilson, 29 of 42 for 340 yards and a touchdown. Now, I started Russell Wilson on my fantasy team, and despite the fact that this man only got me 20 points, I won by 42. Sorry, Ethan. But overall, I think this is kind of one of those things where you were expecting more from Russell Wilson. Like you trade 5 draft picks and pay this man this much money to be able to be the leader of the team and have them elevate you over situations like that on that 4th and 5. And it's just, we're talking about Fizzouts that started out those decisions, man, and Fizzouts in terms of putting the ball on the ground, especially late in the 4, like throughout the games. Like, it's just, you can't put the ball on the ground at any time, but to do it twice in the red zone is just, it's tough. It's absolutely tough. So yeah, Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams able to run the ball very effectively. Jerry Jeudy, I think Jerry Jeudy is actually going to benefit very much from Russell Wilson. I felt like he was a guy that was he was so ready to break out, and now that he's got a quality quarterback, I'm excited for it. But, had 4 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton also had another couple of nice catches as well. Javonte Williams, you look at a guy that had over 100 total yards on the game, and it just baffles me a little bit when you talk about trying to push the ball down the field. And I get that the Seahawks were playing pretty tough, but I think that was kind of where Russell Wilson is a fizz out in this point. You got to see more down the field passing. You only have you have 42 attempts, 340 yards. You're at that 7 yards ish. 7 or 8 yards ish type of attempts, and I get that, but at the same time, Javonte Williams, they did a lot of great screens that ended up helping him out and get him into open space. But I mean, we got to see more, from guys like KJ Hamler and all those guys. I felt like you got to do targets, you got to get something down the field against that Seahawks passing attack. So then defensively, Bradley Chubb, couple of big sacks, definitely a standout in this game. Jerry Jeudy definitely a standout, as well as Cortland Sutton here. Javonte Williams, just keep giving this man the ball. Come on, just another standout. Bradley Chubb, a couple of sacks there. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if he is a guy that, or I wouldn't be surprised, excuse me, if he is a guy that has 12, 14, 15 sacks because this year I haven't had my coffee yet. Give me a break. So Bradley Chubb is one of those guys that the more you watch him, it seems like the better he gets, and I'm really excited to see what he does with this defense as well. So, but as far as the rest of the game, like both defensive lines, in terms of stopping the run, it was rough at times, but I think both D lines were able to get the job done. Now, 4th and 5, it's just I feel for Nathaniel Hackett. I really do. You talk about your first head coaching gig, and it's one of those situations where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like it's like if he chose to go for it and he didn't get it, okay, he's got 3 timeouts. So I mean, there'd be, and they still lose, then it's like, okay, well, he shouldn't have gone for it. Well, you should have kicked the field goal. Okay, and then he made his decision where to kick a 64-yard field goal, which again, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So it's a tough decision all around. But this defense, how do you let Geno Smith? Now, don't get me wrong. Geno Smith is a very respectable quarterback, very respectable backup quarterback. He's going to be the perfect bridge quarterback for the Seahawks this year. But how do you let Geno Smith, Russell Wilson's backup, beat you? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I understand that, this is the NFL. Everybody is good. Everybody is in the NFL for a reason. But man, that's tough. Brandon McManus, I don't put that miss on Brandon McManus. Having to kick a 64-yard field goal in that situation, it's just rough. So, definitely standouts, Geno Smith, baby. I got to give it up. Geno Smith finishing 23 of 28 for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like I said, I get the fact that this is the NFL, but Geno Smith went in there and did his thing. Like I was very happy for him. Rashad Penny, who I think some of the commentators pointed out last year how he finished very strong last year. I wouldn't be shocked if Penny has 1,000 yards this year, or at least in that conversation. I think Travon Walker coming over from Michigan State. He's going to be a big part of this running game. But overall, I'm really excited about the year Rashad Penny is going to have. Then receiving, Will Dissly had 3 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown, basically left wide open. I think it was one of the linebackers. I forgot. I remember watching the highlights, and I think they were trying to force a throw from Geno Smith, and that just, you had 2 linebackers that stepped up when Geno looked like he was going to run, and Will Dissly was wide open. So that was fantastic. And then also Colby Parkinson, 2 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. DK Metcalf, he's probably lost his fantasy. What's the word I'm looking for? His impact, excuse me. 7 catches, 36 yards. Definitely not what we thought, as well as Tyler Lockett, those 2. Like Geno Smith, there is a drop-off from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith, but I mean, I don't know. They got to win over him, but, it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 guys do come back and do their thing, but overall, you are kind of shocked, to see those 2 both averaging under 10 yards a catch. Then defensively, Jordan Brooks getting the job done. 12 tackles. You love to see it, flying around, making a lot of different plays. Cody Barton finishing with a sack, as well as Uchenna Nwosu, I believe the former Charger as well. So, like I said, the defense making a lot of big plays for the Seahawks in a lot of big situations, and the fact that you're able to get the ball out. And again, I know this mainly a lot falls on the Broncos, but you're able to punch the ball out or get it out on both of those goal line situations. Those are game changers. Those are absolute game changers. So hats off to the defense for the Seahawks. Now the Seahawks, it's hard to find a fizz out when you beat a team that everybody was saying you weren't going to, but I think the fact that you allowed 2 sacks to Bradley Chubb there, that's definitely a fizz out. Honestly, there were a couple of situations where I would have liked to see them finish out drives a little bit better, but it is what it is. Fizz outs, you want to talk about that second half offense? I mean, you have Geno Smith that starts lightning hot, and the Broncos had many opportunities to be able to score. And that defense, like I said, that defense for the Seahawks played very well. But offensively, you got to put some points on the board in the second half. I don't care if it's a field goal. I don't care if you got to. I don't care what happens. But to be able to make this tougher on the Broncos, you have to put points on the board. So we have to cover both ends, the good and the bad. But overall, the Seahawks come away with kind of a surprising win here. Also, Tariq Woolen, a couple of penalties on those pass interference plays. It is what it is. You just kind of hope that he's a young player. He's going to learn. He's going to get a lot better. I'm not really worried about him. Also, the Seahawks lost Jamal Adams to injury. Hopefully, he'll be back relatively soon. I believe it was a hip tendon injury. I'm not sure the extent of it, but it did not look good. So I hope he is. I hope for a speedy recovery. Nothing but prayers and love for him. But overall, like I said, exciting game on Monday Night Football. Like, it had all the narratives of former team, former number one quarterback or star quarterback in the NFL getting traded to another team. It was a real like Joe Montana playing for the Kansas City Chiefs and playing against the 49ers type vibe. So, like I said, it was a great game overall, but I mean, Nathaniel Hackett, like I said, I feel bad for him, but it's a tough decision. That's why you get into coaching. That's why you are in charge of this whole team. So I think he's going to learn from it, and I think the Broncos are going to be just fine. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. In the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, put it in the comment section down below, or send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com. And also, let us know what you guys think about standouts and fizzouts, our latest edition of winners and losers. Pop, which one do you guys drink? Or soda? Sorry, soda, pop, whatever. Is it Coke, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, whatever it is? Let us know what you guys drink, and let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of standouts and fizzouts for the Denver Broncos versus Seattle Seahawks matchup.